Oh, did you see that? What a hit by Power Rocket. Unbelievable. Last season, the brand new team Legionary captured second place, mostly on the back of this car, Hammered Coupe. Now Legionary is back and ready to fight for another chance to be in the finals. But first they gotta get through 9 other teams. Welcome to the Junkyard Joust, everybody. I'm Aaron Yonda. Taking a quick look at those 9 other teams, you've got Yellow Hammer, Multiverse Motors, Road Stars, the Rod Warriors, Massive Transit, the Thunderlords, Turtle Power, Distinguished Competition, or DC, and Carts and Crappers. Let's head out into the junkyard now and joust. We've got some celebrity spectators today, the famous Baby Cookie, of course.
It's me, Baby Cookie.
The newly recovered Picard.
96% efficiency.
And Troy and Jordy. We might see Cookie and Picard going down in some cars on these runs later today. Up first for Massive Transit Copter Chase, 69 grand, sponsored by Jedi. The randomly determined running order is up as Evil Weevil is tossed aside by Copter Chase. Massive Transit never made it to the finals in Season 2. Maybe they've got a shot this season. We shall see. Up first for the Thunderlords, it's Rolling Thunder, sponsored by Illuminati Public Relations. Rolling Thunder slots nicely into the track, and that rounded back could prove an interesting obstacle for future cars coming down. First one to give it a try is going to be Raphael for Turtle Power, sponsored by Sicken. Raphael does not go off the back of Rolling Thunder, in fact punches the cars forward, and Copter Chase is almost off the track. Half of it is anyway. Going down now for Distinguished Competition, it's the Penguin, sponsored by Emo Dingo. This car a little unstable, just like its namesake. Penguin slides into the back of the cars and pushes Raphael out sideways, Rolling Thunder making an exit, and the Penguin is curbside. Carts and Crappers, all carts this season, and they've got some agile cars on their team. This is one of them, Loopster, sponsored by Chome. Loopster coasts right into the Penguin and knocks him off the track upside down, and the Penguin is probably our first elimination, unless Raphael stays sideways, which seems unlikely. Here comes Rapid Responder for Yellow Hammer, sponsored by Emo Dingo. Rapid Responder knocks Raphael back upright, and the Penguin stays upside down, and Loopster gets free of the tangle. Legionary's up now. Here comes Troy Soldier, sponsored by Brendan Walsh. Troy Soldier, wow, annihilation to the Rapid Responder, but look at the recovery. Rapid Responder goes tumbling all over the place, but takes a real good bounce and makes a recovery over by the tires. Nice job there. And now Raphael is back in his side. Shang-Chi up first for Multiverse Motors, sponsored by Mark the Music Lover. Shang-Chi does a nice push, gets the Copter Chase vehicle off the track almost completely, and Troy Soldier is curbside. The 3-window 34 is up now, sponsored by TJG. 3-window careens into the back of Shang-Chi, and Troy Soldier goes off the track, has a little trouble, starts to come back, but doesn't make it. And that would count as a sideways and an elimination if it stays like that. Rod Warriors are a team of skinny and agile cars. They've done quite well for themselves in the qualifier. First up for them is Overboard 454T, sponsored by Hendricus Heavy Hauling. Overboard smacks the 3-window up, almost makes it go sideways, then tries to get off the track. No eliminations on that hit, but definitely stirred things up a lot. Bone Blazers for Massive Transit, sponsored by Swedenborg Smorgasbord. Bone Blazers annihilates every car on the track. Shang-Chi goes flying, flips over upside down. That's an elimination there. 3-window manages to make a nice recovery, and now Bone Blazers is up on the safety rail. Devastating hit. Rare Flow's up first for Thunderlord, sponsored by Wolfle Fiber Art. Rare Flow slides underneath Bone Blazers, but Bone Blazers is steady and is not tipping over. First up for Turtle Power, Turtle Shell, sponsored by Wolfle Fiber Art. Turtle Shell gets a nice hit but can't go anywhere and bounces back after hitting Rare Flow. Does manage to stay on the track. The DC team is made up of heroes and villains. In particular, Mr. Freeze, a heavy, very difficult car to get off the track. Wonder Woman's up first, sponsored by Stump's Tree Farm. Wonder Woman hurls herself into the turtle, but not much happening there. Pretty ineffective hit. Pedal Driver for Carts and Crappers, sponsored by Chemical Knight. It's a light and tiny car, but it still packs a punch and manages to get Wonder Woman off the track and upside down. Unfortunately, also kind of knocks itself over in the process. Here comes Two Timer, sponsored by Chemical Knight. Two Timer splits the cars up on the track. Turtle Shell goes up, it won't flip over, and Pedal Driver is done. Nice hit there. Up now for Legionary, it's Dual Fueler, sponsored by Sean and Patrick Hogan. Dual Fueler sends Two Timer up in the air into the sky. Turtle Shell makes a recovery, but Two Timer is not that lucky. And now Rare Flow is in trouble as Dual Fueler is right underneath. Let's see what happens when Black Widow makes a hit, sponsored by Kieran Shelton. Black Widow pushes Dual Fueler. Rare Flow manages to not get flipped over. Good effort there to stay alive. Roadstars are a team of all roadsters. They managed to stay alive in their qualifiers and they're ready to make a mark. 33 Ford Roadsters starting out, sponsored by Ellis Wurtenberger. The Roadster slams into the pile and Widow stays alive. Again, Rare Flow resists being flipped over, and so does Dual Fueler. It's So Skeeny, sponsored by Judy Collins. It's So Skeeny gets underneath the Roadster, and the Roadster just sits on top of it. A lot of cars perched precariously right now. A big hit would do some serious damage. And look at that. Fuel and Fire, 78 grams, sponsored by Brendan Walsh. Here we go. Fuel and Fire knocks a bunch of cars out. Black Widow flips over and gets pushed upside down. The Roadster is out. Rare Flow finally flips over. Dual Fueler flips over, and It's So Skeeny flips over. That was devastating. Fuel and Fire may have just gotten 5 eliminations. Triclops for the Thunderlords, sponsored by Mark the Music Lover. Triclops tries to get under Fuel and Fire, but can't do it. The truck's just too big. And wow, do we have a lot of cars eliminated suddenly. Here's a team that is not very easy to eliminate, Turtle Power. They've got a well-balanced team of turtles, of course. Michelangelo is up now, sponsored by Hey Hey's Hatchback Hanger. Michelangelo does some slick maneuvering, goes off the back of Triclops and hits his head on the back, although it seems like maybe he did that on purpose, because then he made a nicely balanced recovery. Robin, sponsored by Sid from Cybertron. Robin, a nice heavy hit, manages to get Fuel and Fire pushed off the track, but not eliminated by any means. Here comes Go-Kart, sponsored by Sicken. Go-Kart gets underneath Robin, but cannot finish Robin off. Robin is slightly off the track, still in danger. Here comes Wall-E for Yellow Hammer, sponsored by Raygull Radio. Wall-E just blasts into the go-kart. Go-kart gets tossed up on the back of Fuel and Fire. Looks like he's gonna stay there, but then Wall-E pushes him back, falls down, goes upside down. Nasty hit there by Wall-E. Double Vision now, sponsored by Sid from Cybertron. Double Vision punctures Wall-E in the behind and pushes him up on his face. Multiverse Motors, a team of Marvel superheroes. Next up for them is Vision, sponsored by Judy Collins. Single Vision plows into the back of Double Vision, and Double Vision goes over, could be eliminated. Wall-E makes an amazing little slick maneuver there, and he's in a good position right now to make it to the next round. 29 Ford Pickup, sponsored by Sloth Automotive Sachet and Buffet. The pickup plows into the large clump of cars. Double Vision goes more upside down, and Single Vision goes totally upside down. We're all gonna be blind after this round. There's not gonna be any vision left. Blastus, sponsored by Chemical Knight. Blastus tries to get under the pickup and doesn't quite make it, but manages to flip it over sideways, and the visions are jumbled up a little bit, but nothing major happens there. Speed Blaster, big hit now coming down, sponsored by the Turbo Ventures. Speed Blaster really shakes things up, but in the wrong direction. Double Vision recovers, and the Ford pickup also recovers. No eliminations on that hit. Kind of backfired. Goes to show that sometimes a big hit can actually be a big miss. This season, the Thunderlords are a team of low-slung vehicles that like to stay on the track. Up now for them, it's the Incredibile, sponsored by Carlton Hill Enterprises. Incredibile doesn't do a whole lot there, does manage to stay on the track and do a little pushing. And here comes Donatello, sponsored by Chemical Mart. Donatello wisely pushes the Incredibile underneath that big rig. Speed Blaster poised for an early end, if he's not careful. Oh, this hit might mess some things up. 141 grams, Mr. Freeze, sponsored by Sloss Automotive Sachet and Buffet. Mr. Freeze hits a solid line of cars, doesn't do a whole lot, but there is some movement up in the front. Let's take a look at Skycam. Bone Blazers right now is in danger of being eliminated. A lot of eliminated cars up there still. We'll have to keep an eye on what's going on with Bone Blazers. Head Starter's up now for Carts and Crappers, sponsored by Sloss Automotive Sachet and Buffet. Head Starter cannot do anything to Mr. Freeze. That thing is way too heavy for that little car. Just bounces ineffectively off the back of it and goes sideways. 15 cars left in this round. Crescendo's up now, sponsored by Stump's Tree Farm. Crescendo pinches Head Starter off the track, and Head Starter does not make a recovery. Goes right upside down, and Crescendo locks it in. The top 3 teams from last season are allowed to swap one car on their team. Legionary's done that. We'll see that Nissan in a little bit. Right now, here is the legend Hammered Coupe, sponsored by Deluxe Flame. Crescendo is popped up in the air, reaches a crescendo indeed, probably about a 6 on the height bar, I'd say. Manages to land it, but that was a nice hit from Hammered Coupe, and now Hammered Coupe is working on Mr. Freeze. Ms. Marvel now, sponsored by Scarnsloth. Ms. Marvel can't do much except force Hammered Coupe under Mr. Freeze. This could be it, the demise of Mr. Freeze. Seems like Hammered Coupe was waiting for that vehicle to head down the track. And here comes Hooligan, appropriately enough, driven by Baby Cookie, sponsored by Ellie's Hop Shop. Hooligan jokes around with Ms. Marvel, but it's not funny for Ms. Marvel. Ms. Marvel upside down over on top of Crescendo. Baby Cookie is hurled out of the vehicle just the way she likes it.
I blacked out, and the next moment I was here.
She loves to get into the mix on these things. She's hanging out over there next to one of the turtles. And Hooligan is upside down. Subaru Impreza WRX, sponsored by Bion Automotive. The Subaru, wow, that was almost a devastating hit. Mr. Freeze was definitely in trouble there, but somehow manages to slide it back and recover. Whew, that's the closest anyone's ever got that vehicle to being eliminated. Speaking of large vehicles, Massive Transit is a big team of big trucks. Here comes the Custom VW, sponsored by Hendrika's Heavy Hauling. The VW ravages that Subaru. The Subaru going head over heels and lands upside down. Donatello is pushed sideways by the VW, and then the VW starts to lose it and go over itself, courtesy of Hammered Coupe. But that Subaru definitively taken down. Up now, it's Fished and Chipped, sponsored by Bentley's Brakes and Bumpers. Wow, that's a mouthful. Fished and Chipped manages to upright the VW. Not a very good hit at all. That's the last thing you want to do when you go down the track is help a big vehicle like that, but that's what happened. Leonardo's up now for Turtle Power, sponsored by Stump's Tree Farm. Leonardo goes off the back of Fished and Chipped and goes all the way down the line of cars. Manages to barely stay alive. That's going to be a close call. We'll see how it shifts and adjusts as a few more hits come down. Here comes the Batman, sponsored by Crow and Turtles Mini Painting. Ooh, that was a bit of a bat embarrassment right there. The Batman goes upside down off the back of Fished and Chipped. It's the opposite of what you're supposed to do with the Batmobile. Next up, it's Teed Off, sponsored by Liz's Wizard Arts and Witchcrafts. Teed Off takes a pitching wedge to the Batman, and Batman goes flying up in the air, cannot make a recovery. I'd call that a hole in one. Fished and Chipped manages to stay alive, and so does Teed Off. Yellow Hammer is a diverse team of cars, and some of them are pretty good at surviving. Pixel Shaker's up now with Picard going down for a ride, sponsored by Wayland Enterprises International. Pixel Shaker and Picard do a good hit on Teed Off, but don't really do any damage. Picard manages to stay in the vehicle. That's pretty impressive. Picard proving he's ready to have some fun after those battles with the Borg. Here comes the new guy for Legionary, the Nissan Skyline Silhouette, sponsored by Sicken. The Nissan boots Pixel Shaker up in the air and over a bunch of cars, but look at that, Pixel Shaker makes a great recovery. Teed off is tipping, but isn't quite there yet, I don't think. And you can see over on the left, Crescendo topples. Quick Picard check, Picard is okay. Iron Man's up, sponsored by Andy Capo. This car had 5 eliminations in its qualifier. Iron Man shooting for another elimination, but hits the rough and tough back of that Nissan. Can't really make anything happen there. I don't see a single elimination from that hit. Mod Rod now, sponsored by Bentley's Brakes and Bumpers. The Mod Rod gets underneath Iron Man. Iron Man is on the verge of tipping. Good hit by Mod Rod. Here comes Slider, sponsored by Hey Steve Productions. Slider slides underneath Mod Rod and Iron Man tips sideways. Bad luck for Iron Man. Slider, the final car for this massacre of a first round. 25 cars eliminated in this round. That is half the field, folks. Look at the chaos. Let's take a look at the aftermath. Thunderlords coming out of this looking shiny. Only 1 lost. Massive Transit and Turtle Power each lost 2. DC and Carts and Crappers each lost 3. Tough round for them. And we've got 1 team already eliminated. Multiverse Motors, a very poor showing in this round, and they are gone. Legionary lost 3 whole cars. Yellow, Road, and Rod each lost 2. And with a snap of the fingers, Multiverse Motors, the first team to be eliminated in this main event. Here we go, round 2. Rolling Thunder gonna start us out. Thunderlords had an amazing first round, and they are doing great. Randomized running orders up based on the number of cars each team has left. There's 9 teams left. We are going until there are 3. Pixel Shaker's gonna start us out for Yellow Hammer. Pixel Shaker looking a little shaky, goes curbside, but Picard is staying in that car. Pretty sure Jean-Luc Picard loves the joust. I mean, car is in his name. Overboard 454T now for the Rod Warriors. Nothing boring about that hit. Look at the Pixel Shaker do a complete 360 and land upright, and then guess what? Overboard does the exact same thing, and they face each other. Wow, that was a cool hit right there. 29 Ford pickup for the Roadstars. The Ford does not succumb to the rounded back of Rolling Thunder and locks it in. Turtle Shell. Turtle Shell headbutts the Ford, and the Ford goes curbside, but not off the track. Here comes a big hit copter chase for Massive Transit. Massive Transit knocks 2 vehicles off the track. Turtle Shell makes it right side up, and the Ford goes over and sideways. Does not look good for the Ford. Here comes Loopster for Carts and Crappers. A hard push, and copter chase is pushed almost off the track. Front of the rig's going off anyway. Good hit by Loopster. The Nissan Skyline's got a chance to tip copter chase off the track here. Heavy hit, but no success. Loopster and copter chase both make it off the track successfully. And now that Nissan is locked in. Robin smacks the Nissan. Evil Weevil is pushed off the track. No need for the buffer now. We got 3 cars locked in. Time for Triclops. Triclops pushes Robin forward underneath the Nissan. The Nissan balanced precariously. Wall-E, pretty heavy hit here. Wall-E does all kinds of acrobatics, flips off the back of Triclops. He goes underneath the Skyline briefly, causes the Skyline to flip over upside down, and Wall-E probably also out right here. Sacrificed himself. Blastus almost gets underneath Triclops. Not an easy thing to do, but it looks like that lift up back of Triclops actually prevented it from happening. 3-window 34. The 3-window pushes Blastus off the track, but not hard enough to end it. Blastus is safe. Looks like we've got about 3 eliminations so far this round. Here comes Michelangelo for the Turtles. Michelangelo smokes 3-window out of its hole, and it goes off the track and lands upside down. Effective hit right there. Michelangelo cannot get under Triclops. And here comes Fuel and Fire fresh off of a lot of eliminations in that first round. Fuel and Fire does not continue the trend. Michelangelo, look at the acrobatics. goes on top of Rolling Thunder, slides up front, looks like he's doomed, and then he flips right back over and is perfectly safe right up in the safety spot, as established by Lamelt back in the day. Teed off. Ooh, teed off, bounces off the back of Fuel and Fire. Gonna need a mulligan on that hit because he is out. Hammered Coupe the sole survivor for Legionary right now, but he's used to this. Hammered Coupe gets under Fuel and Fire, but man, look at that giant rig, and it has great balance. Just lands it. You don't see that much with big vehicles. That is truly impressive. And now Triclops has to be careful because of the Coupe. And this is gonna be a big hit here, Mr. Freeze. Mr. Freeze, what just happened? Mr. Freeze had a chance to push the Coupe underneath, but he couldn't control himself and he went off the back of the Hammered Coupe and just flopped over sideways. That was a big elimination. Now only Robin left for DC. Here comes the Incredibile. Incredibile tosses the Coupe. That was a dangerous hit for the Coupe, but look at the steadiness. Not even a chance of flipping over right there, and the Coupe just vacates the track. As we know, it's a tough car to eliminate. Rapid Responder. Rapid Responder moves quickly into the back of Incredibile, a little too quickly, and now is curbside. 5 cars left in the round. Up next is Slider. Slider gets the Rapid Responder up on top of Incredibile. Rapid Responder bobbles and bounces and loses it at the last second, slides off and lands sideways. Mod Rod. Mod Rod knocks Slider off the track, puts Slider in kind of a tough position. Let's see if Slider can handle this hit from Leonardo. Leonardo bounces off the back of Mod Rod, and Slider is very close to sideways still. This ought to shake things up a little bit. Custom VW, 83 grams. Custom VW plows Mod Rod off the track. Mod Rod goes upside down. Leonardo gets booted, stops at Mod Rod, but then continues on. Looks like he's gonna go upside down, makes a recovery. And from Skycam, you can see that Slider is still hanging in there. Final car of the round, it's Fished and Chipped. Fished and Chipped doesn't do anything to the back of that big VW, and that is gonna be it. We're gonna have 7 cars eliminated in that round. We're down to 18. But we've still got 9 teams in this. Let's take a look at the aftermath. The Rod Warriors are still doing great with 3 cars left. Roadstars, Legionary, and Yellowhammer all down to 1 apiece. They are in trouble. Massive Transit still has 3. Thunderlord still didn't lose a car. Unbelievable. Turtle Power at 3. DC and Carts and Crappers at 1. Have you ever wanted to send your cars into Junkyard Joust? Well, now is your chance. Submissions are now open for the first Junkyard Joust custom car battle. You can go to redlinederby.com to get information on the rules and where to send your cars. Link is in the description. Thanks for watching Junkyard Joust, and I hope you'll join me next week for the conclusion to this second main event.